gentlemen, and for the United Way and the many people who rely on the united efforts of this agency, it's a great morning as we kick off the Fall Community Campaign in order to support and strengthen the organized capacity of our community, in order to care for one another. We meet virtually, and we miss being together in person, but united by local love. This is an important year for community collaboration and support. United Way Vision is a community with a strong social services network where individuals can develop their potential for self-sufficiency and personal well-being. And with your help, this will not only be a vision, but a reality. Good luck to all our volunteers, and let the virtual festivities commence!
Good morning. Always great to see the town crier, whether he's inside or outside. He's always loud. I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement. The United Way of KFL&A would like to acknowledge this traditional territory's longer existence and its significance for the Indigenous people who have lived and continue to live on Turtle Island. We're situated on traditional Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee land. There are Métis and other non-status First people from many Indigenous nations present in our community today. This acknowledgement symbolizes the United Way KFL&A's first step of many along this path towards Indigenous reconciliation in a respectful manner. Again, good morning. I'm Pat Murphy. I'll be your MC this morning. I'm very excited to be here. It's a crisp, cool September day. That signals the beginning of school and a lot of things such as our campaign kickoff. Exciting time of year, but to use a quote from Yogi Berra, it's like deja vu all over again. And that's this virtual new world that we're living in. And we're gonna capture the energy and obviously the local love here today with everybody. I'm excited to see so many people. Bumped into a few of you around town, but there's lots of people we haven't seen in the past year and a half face to face. So looking forward to getting back to some sort of normalcy along the way, but this is what we have, and this worked last year, and we're gonna make it work this year. Big shout out and thank you to everybody for joining us this morning, for taking time so early. Sometimes it's a little easier to get in our car, have a shower, get dressed up, and drive down to the Ambassador because we know there's a warm, hot breakfast waiting for us. Love the smell of the bacon, and I love that sign language bacon. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but I remember it's like this. So think of that while you're here this morning. I know you're sitting by yourself at home, but we're going to have an opportunity to connect a little bit together. So if you want to use your chat button along the way, you can do that. Let's make it as interactive as possible. We're going to start this morning with some brief comments from our elected officials and hear from a funded agency, followed by some breakout groups again, which gives us a chance to mingle a little bit and talk in a smaller group. So make sure you stick around for that. Just as we would if we were at breakfast, that Darren said earlier to me already, he wanted to go table to table. Well, this will be his chance to go to chat with a few people, and we want you to do the same. Again, we'll come back at the very end and we will meet and hear from our 2021 campaign chair, Darren Dougal, and you'll get to learn about this year's goal. And I have no doubt that we'll achieve it. We have a huge record on the line and there's no pressure for Darren at all. So it's a piece of cake for him. So again, good morning. We're ready to start. At first, I'd like to welcome Ian Arthur, our MPP for Kingston and the Islands. Ian, good morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us early in the morning on Zoom. I think it's a testament to the incredible work that the United Way does that all of us are probably what feels like 5,000 Zoom calls deep, and we're all still here with smiles on our face at 7:30 in the morning on a Friday after a federal leaders debate that went very late, and then all the analysis last night. So it's just wonderful to see the virtual room so full and so many faces that it will be wonderful to see in person again soon. I want to just talk a little bit about how important the work is the United Way does and the importance of building resilient systems. I think the pandemic has highlighted so many of the cracks that we have in our social service system, and it's dramatically increased the responsibilities and the reach of organizations like the United Way. And in some ways, it's fantastic that the United Way is there and that they have such broad community support to deliver the services that they do and do it in such an incredible manner. But I think that the pandemic has highlighted for us why we need to invest in the systems that prevent people from needing to access the United Way. And it's not to make necessarily, and Bhavna and I have talked about this, in an ideal world, the United Way would not be a thing. But I think that what we need to kind of bear down on and think about is, how do we provide the United Way with similar resources and have them do a little bit more for a few less people every single year? Not to make the United Way not a thing, but to make those resources go a little bit further and help a few more folks go a little bit further in their lives, rather than just patching the gaping holes that we have in our social security system in Canada, which we do. The pandemic has highlighted it, that the United Way and its supports and a resilient social services system is putting people back on the right track so that they get out of needing the services provided by this. And then we can expand and reach more of those vulnerable community members. So please give generously this year. It is the campaign kickoff. I am still really hopeful that we finish the campaign in person with a huge celebration. Maybe we can get there. We'll do everything we can to make sure that we get as many vaccinations in arms as we possibly can to make sure that's an option for everyone. I know we're all looking forward to it. So give generously, help them in this time. The United Way is more important than ever right now, and help us build to a more resilient future that makes sure no one is left behind in this community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian. So great. Sounds like Ian is extremely busy and lots on the go. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. Politicians are very busy, but this next person up is not that busy. I know he's probably just sitting around with his feet up on his desk, and it's been pretty easy here during COVID in Kingston. So we'd like to welcome His Worship, Brian Patterson. We have a strong partnership with the City of Kingston, and we're grateful that he's here this morning with us. And I know he's a huge supporter of the United Way. Brian, great to see you.
Well, thanks very much, Pat. Good morning, everybody. It is absolutely fabulous to see all of your wonderful smiling faces around the Zoom screen this morning to be a part of this year's campaign kickoff. It's at moments like this where, I don't know about you, there's a couple of things that come to my mind. The first is the enormity of sometimes the challenges that we face as a community. I think we can all agree that for many people, the last year and a half has probably been one of the toughest periods of their lives. We know that there are so many people in our community that need that helping hand, and those challenges are real. The other thing that always comes to my mind in moments like this is just the power of what we can do when we work together. There's never a moment that I am more proud to be mayor than in moments like this, when I see so many people all join together from all kinds of different sectors and walks of life and perspectives, all coming together for the same cause. It's incredible. And I just wanted to say how much I appreciate all of the work that has already gone on to plan the campaign, but for all the work that's going to take place over the coming months. I'm excited to help launch the city's workplace campaign next week, and I know that there are many other workplace campaigns that are going to be launching and so many other activities that are happening. And I'm always so inspired by the creative thinking about, okay, what can we do in a pandemic that can still bring people together and raise the dollars that we need for our community. So I think it's just a fantastic moment to see all of you together for that. Thank you so much. This means so much to me. It means so much to City Council. It means so much to our community as a whole. And so I'm excited that this is going to be just an amazing year. And yes, Pat and others that have said this, I am looking forward to that next moment in the Ambassador where we can do this in person. But in the meantime, it's great to have that same energy. Even though we're separated, we're still together. And so thanks very much and looking forward to a great fall campaign.
Thanks, Brian. That's great. One of my favorite times with Brian was a few years ago, was the judging the pie eating contest downtown in Springer Market Square. So I hope to get back to those times. And Brian is a fantastic MC as well. And we had a great day and that was a lot of fun. Thanks for the kind words. Looking forward to the workplace campaign from the city of Kingston. They're huge supporters of our campaign. And that comes from the top and that comes from you. And we appreciate that. Thanks so much. Now I think we have a short video from Ron Van Duel from the County of Frontenac. He couldn't attend this morning in person because he drives school bus. So we'll be thanking him this morning while we listen to his video.
Hi, I'm Ron Van Duel, Mayor of the Township of South Frontenac and Warden for Frontenac County. And I'm excited to announce the start of the 2021 United Way Community Campaign. This year's campaign focuses on fostering local love and how we as a community can take action to support those most in need. The last year and a half has presented many challenges for our communities, resulting in increased local needs and making 2021 an important year for community collaboration. While we miss coming together physically as a community, I encourage you to practice local love this season and find ways you and your family can get involved and help support the community and the United Way. On behalf of myself, South Frontenac, and County Council, staff, and residents, we wish the United Way all the best for a strong campaign season, and we thank you for all the work that you do to help those who need it most in our communities.
Thanks so much. Great to have a message from Ron. I'm glad it wasn't live streamed from a school bus. So that was the most important part. But maybe that would have been exciting too, to hear the kids as well. Now I'm pleased to introduce someone that many of us know very well and you've seen before and very passionate in our community, works close with young adults and also is a huge supporter of the United Way. Sean Quigley is the Executive Director of Youth Diversion, and we have Sean this morning to say a few words to talk about the most vulnerable in our community and how it's important how we support them through this pandemic. Sean, great to see you.
Thanks, Pat. It's great to see you too. And thank you so much for giving me this honor to be the voice of all the 70 or so agencies, organizations that receive funding from the United Way. I thought this year, normally what would happen with a person that's speaking from this perspective would talk about their agency and the impact of the United Way. Because of last year's pandemic, I was a part of an extraordinary fundraising campaign that the United Way put on, and it was unbelievable. And I want to do a bit of a shout out to the United Way this time around, actually. To build and strengthen our community by bringing people and resources together to facilitate change. That is the United Way's mission statement. These are the stats that we already know about the United Way. We know that almost 80,000 individuals last year received support from the United Way, which is about 1 in every 2.5 residents in KFL&A. I did the math on that. 70 organizations, 220 programs. What you also need to know about the United Way is that in terms of accountability and transparency, they received a 5-star rating by Charity Intelligence Canada. And they achieved a 2% administration cost. And they're also recognized as one of the top 100 charities in Canada. But what don't you know about the United Way? The United Way has been involved in many initiatives supporting all kinds of organizations, such as taking the lead on the EDII strategy that's coming up, helping smaller organizations identify how they can better support communities and folks, funding smaller organizations to support diverse and Indigenous communities, offering public workshops and finding ways to support and influence agencies and communities. The United Way was integral in the Social Recovery Task Force, which paralleled the Mayor's Recovery Task Force, bringing together agencies far and wide that would never have worked together in the past, and addressing and identifying gaps, gaps such as in our seniors population, recognizing agencies like New Horizons and the Seniors Association and Seniors Food Bank, Food Securities, the amazing work of Lionheart, Partners in Mission Food Bank, Loving Spoonful. And because of those, in the United Way, we're looking at a huge food distribution center, supports for frontline staff. One of the things that I think most people didn't or probably don't realize is social workers, substance use and mental health workers, recreation workers, outreach workers. We all struggled last year. It was very difficult. And the United Way saw that, and through the support of providing funding to Resolve, many workshops on self-care were introduced to allow our frontline staff to recharge. We also identified a huge need in our rural community with the lack of internet and connections. And so the United Way stepped up and helped provide cell phones and computers. The United Way was huge in our community safety and well-being strategy in partnership with the City of Kingston. We already know about the work the United Way does for youth homelessness, but they've also been integral in the development of One Roof and the Integrated Care Hub. The United Way's influence in the community drug strategy. Some of their initiatives, the backpack campaign, winter clothing, the new peer support model that's coming, distributing PPE, Pink Shirt Day, Day of Caring, board leadership programs. They even distributed coffee crisps and toilet paper, things that we probably don't even realize that are needed in our community. And this was all done last year. In 1 year, all of this was done by the United Way. Sometimes I think the United Way should consider a name change. As opposed to the United Way, maybe we should call the United Way, We Can Do That. And in fact, if I had a quarter for every time I heard Pavna say, we can do that, I think I would solve youth diversion's funding issue in a year. There's the usual stuff that the United Way does, right? The helping kids be all that they can be, 16,000 kids, building strong and healthy communities, 24,000 people, moving people from poverty to possibility, 39,000 people. These were all folks that were helped by the United Way, thanks to each and every one of you giving $1, giving $2, giving $10. In fact, the work that we do at Youth Diversion, I just did the math the other day, works out to $1.88 a day. So why do we do this? We do this because of the parent that I just received a phone call from the other day who out of the blue received 3 backpacks for her kids. And she was in tears when she was talking to me because she said, you know what, we're a single family or single income family. And I know there are others out there that need it more than we do, but I just couldn't help myself to call and thank you so much for those backpacks. And my 7-year-old child looked at me and said, how did they know we needed this? Or the 17-year-old kid that reached out to one of our staff a couple of days ago, who had been struggling for quite some time. And thanks to United Way funding for other programs out there in the community, we were able to connect this young person up to various different services. And they called us to thank us for getting their very first job, making $16 an hour, and the young person could not contain their excitement. These are the things that the United Way does without any fanfare, without any praise. It's just day to day. And if we were all together right now, I would want each and every one of the United Way staff to stand up and take a bow. And I don't want to forget about Mark, who is just recently retired, and the work that she did. So this year is going to be extraordinary. I'm going to challenge each and every one of you out there. Let's not let these folks down. Let's not let the 80,000 community members in KFL&A down this year. And let's try for all of us to do what we can to make sure that we are helping people move from poverty to possibility, building healthy and strong communities, and helping kids be all that they can be. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing you all in your workplace campaigns and talking with you. Take care.
Sean, thank you so much. We can do it. I love that message. We've always said, and probably last year was even more than ever, maybe it is because we live so close to this great water. There's something in the water here that just, I don't know if it energizes us and brings us together. This organization is all about people, whether that's the business side and the staff, to all the people that we help, to everybody that's passionate and focused on what they do in their roles through the agencies. And those 3 things connected together certainly make this United Way extremely powerful in our community. And it's people like you that really help drive that. And thank you for being here this morning. And thank you for sharing the message, not just about what you do, but about all the agencies and everything that that we touch along the way, because that really shows what we do. And the other message that I always love, obviously, is about the $1, the $2, the $5, and this will help Darren out, but every dollar counts, right? So we need every dollar to get people fired up, to help Darren raise, a couple $1,000s to get to his goal. So we'll hear Darren announce that a little bit later. So stick around. I think we have is Bester here from Napanee now? Is she on the call? Maybe she could say a few words. Is she here, Chelsea? Perfect. Mark?
I am, and I want to apologize. I'm sorry. The United Way is extremely near and dear to my heart, but we had a bit of an emergency that has been solved within Greater Napanee, and the mayor kind of needed to help. So thank you again for being patient with me, and thank you for including me in this for another year. Never has there been a more important time for partnerships and fundraising and support. The United Way and KFL&A has continued to supply and support, to encourage and enable so many partner agencies throughout the pandemic. Without the organizational framework that is already in place, some might have faltered, but they didn't. Without switching gears and finding safe and better ways to reach those in need, new programs, new supports, and even new volunteers were encouraged to continue and do even more. Each section of the United Way neighborhood worked to find the optimum use of the funds to supply what was needed. I believe, though it's very hard to even think, it may be one upside to COVID-19, to realize how strong we are as a unit, and that in today's world, the way that support is delivered needs to and has evolved because of the last 18 months. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Let's get the money rolling in so we can keep going forward. Thanks again. And I do apologize for being late, but crossing guards were kind of needed at one spot. So that was me. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words. We now have a United Way video that we would like to show during the pandemic. Not just did we raise money, but many of you stepped up to help with donation drives. As Sean alluded to, the backpacks, the coats, the food. So many of you here today and your colleagues found different ways to help. This great video shows a recap of everybody working in the community when some of us weren't out there face to face, but as we said, the United Way never sleeps, and things are always happening. Things are going on behind the scenes, and I love watching this to see all that goes on. Wow, just amazing. Great video. There was a comment about the music, and the music was so vibrant and so lively, and that certainly gets us going here in the morning. And it's amazing to see how many people in our community get involved in so many different things that help us out. And again, without our volunteers, we're nothing, and we really appreciate everything that everybody does to help our United Way out. A little bit of a plug. We're having an in-person event next week here at Secure Financial Group. There's a barbecue outside at 11:30 in our parking lot, lots of space. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you. It'll be the first in-person event since I think late November 2019. So we're very fortunate and very excited for that. Fingers crossed all goes well and we can have it. And then hopefully we can also have some other things that follow shortly after that as well. Now we're going to break out into groups. So just sort of, I think you'll be transported in a group. Don't panic. Just stay with us. Don't touch anything. And then you'll be transported back to the big group at the end. And we'll get to hear our campaign chair, Darren Dougal, say some words. I know he's been holding back, and we'll hear him with us announce his goal as well. So stick with us. Stay tuned. We're going to go into small groups and have a few chats. That was energizing. It was great. It was great to be able to chat with so many people. And I got to speak just at the end, and I was just saying that Kingston's such a small community, and I've been very blessed to be part of the United Way for so long and be in business for so long. I pretty much know everybody that was in our group, just from different, whether it's through the United Way, through work, or the community, or growing up here. And that excites me. I'm on fire now. I'm very excited about today. And one of the messages I wanted to get across to everybody was, because we were just doing letters this week for donors who have not given. And so it's so easy to forget about the campaign. And you've heard me say about the United Way never sleeps. It goes 365 days a year. But sometimes we thought we just gave, but that was probably for last year. So if everybody could help me and Darren and everybody else this year, remind them that we need them for 2021 as well. So don't forget that message. Somebody just asked about resharing the details for our barbecue. Next Friday at the Secure Financial Group parking lot, starts at 11:30, in-person event, as long as we're allowed to have it so far, which is great. I thought I'd keep the Yogi Berra theme back to it's deja vu all over again, but it feels a little bit more comfortable this year than it did last year. But a couple quotes before I introduce our campaign chair. I think these are important for Darren to know. A nickel ain't worth a dime anymore. And it ain't over till it's over. And so I want to introduce our 2021 campaign, Darren Dougal. Darren, I think his calling has been working with youth his entire life. He's just amazing at dealing with hard things and hard subjects, and dealing with our youth and helping out above and beyond. It certainly is calling. Darren's a ball of fire, which is good and bad. You don't want to get in his way, I don't think. So I think this is probably a good person to have as our campaign chair. He's been on every committee I know throughout the United Way since I've known him and being involved. He's passionate, he's driven, he's focused, he's great to be around, he's knowledgeable, he's a voice of reason, he's fun, he makes our meetings fun, and he's never late for a meeting. Oh, wait a second, that one's not true, so we have to cross that one out. But everybody, our campaign chair for this year, Darren Dougal, 2021. Darren, it's all yours.
Thanks, Pat. And the check is in the mail for all those comments, except for the last one, because that actually wasn't true. And Pat, I do want to say thank you for starting the meeting today with the land acknowledgement. What I find important about the land acknowledgement is not just acknowledging the past and the concerns and the reconciliation that has to occur, but it's about starting in a good way. And this is what today is. It's starting in a good way. Our Indigenous folks and neighbors and friends have taught us to look after the land, but they've also taught us to look after each other. And to me, that's where the campaign is going to go. It's about the 79,000 people, but that's just a number. 79,000 is an impressive number of people served in KFL&A, but it's only a number. What it really means is our friends, our family, our neighbors, people that are touched by the United Way services. Sean talked about 1 in 2.5. I challenge that number every time I hear it, that it's far lower ratio than that. It's like 1 to 1. If you haven't been touched by the United Way, you're built of iron, you're built of steel, or you live by yourself in the middle of the woods like I do. But even I have, my family, my friends, my neighbors have been impacted by United Way agencies. You know, the last 18 months, we've lived through a lot. A lot of our lives have been disrupted. I walk down Princess Street, or I walk down Bridge Street in Napanee, and I see the impact that the pandemic has had. I've seen businesses that I grew up loving and participating in and hanging out with the owners. I see those businesses change. Some of them pivoted to new ideas. Some of them, unfortunately, didn't make the turn, and the pandemic has impacted them. But for the biggest part of KFL&A, we are a very resilient community. We have a strong economic infrastructure. Lots of our businesses were disrupted, but a lot of our paychecks weren't. Our institutional partners in this community, the universities, the colleges, the provincial government, the federal government agencies, Quigley Regional Detention Center in Napanee, you know, some of the businesses in Napanee actually ramped up a lot of their services, and a lot of their economy actually grew. We have a strong community, and that tells me that we also have an obligation. We have an obligation to the people that are less fortunate, the people that were disadvantaged by this pandemic, but also on the implications of the pandemic. I mean, Sean talked about all the staff at all these 70 agencies that went to work or tried to figure out a way to go to work. And their work isn't something that can be put aside for 18 months. Their work is people's lives. Think of the people that are experiencing mental health challenges, or poverty challenges, or other kinds of challenges, on top of losing their job, or on top of their jobs being disrupted. And yet these agencies had to continue to provide those services. Their staff were going through the same thing. I can't imagine Sean's staff or some of the other agency staff where they had to try to balance the needs of their family, the anxieties, the stresses, and yet take off their home hat and go to work and support people that were experiencing the exact same things that were waiting for them at home. And they did it. They did it with the support of the United Way, as Sean talked about, but they did it because they care, because that local love is strong. And you know what? We owe it. We owe it to those agencies, to those 79,000 people, to demonstrate how strong our local love is. It's our opportunity. The next 4 months is really our opportunity to say, this is Kingston. This is what it means to live in Kingston. This is what it means to live in Greater Napanee. This is what it means to live in Charlotte Lake or Cloyne. We have a community that cares, that can demonstrate our local love, and the money that we give to the United Way is going to be spent on your friends, your family, your neighbors. That's who's going to benefit. That's who's going to see our local love. Yesterday, I was at a local event. It was kind of fun to be at a local event. Hard to eat a hamburger with a mask on, but there was a gentleman there who was a very successful, or is a very successful businessman, and who was also a campaign chair in his community. And he was asked while I was standing there, you know, what, you got any advice for this guy? He's about to step in front of a campaign. And his advice was, you know, day one, I was terrified. And you know what? I'm not terrified in the least. I know this community. I know what we can do. I've seen it in the years that I've been involved in the nonprofit sector, in the years that I was involved with the United Way. I've seen what we can accomplish. I am not nervous in the least. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what our friends at the Boys and Girls Club are about to turn the numbers. I hope they turn them in the right order, but I'm not afraid if they turn them in the wrong order. If they put a big number at the front, I know what you folks can do. I'm looking at hundreds of people that have already demonstrated that. I'm not worried at all. This is our challenge. This is our opportunity. This is our exciting time. We're there. It's just, we got to get to that darn touchdown breakfast and have a coffee and a strip of bacon or veggie bacon and celebrate, because we can do this. This is our time to show our local love. And it's probably now the time that the Boys and Girls Club kids are about to turn over some really exciting numbers. Turn it to them.
Thank you to our young volunteers, and at the count of 3, they will reveal the 2021 United Way campaign goal. 1, 2, 3.
Wow. Wow. That was fantastic. And doable, very doable. There's the opportunity, not a challenge. Here's the opportunity. Show your local love. We got it. We know how to do it. Let's just get on the road and do it. Safe travels for those who are traveling today. Thank you so much. I turn it over to Pat now to say our goodbye, I suspect.
So if you have to leave, you can leave. If you would like to stay and chat, I'm going to make Darren stay so he can answer questions and you get a chance to pick his brain. Darren, absolutely phenomenal kickoff. Wow. Amazing words, inspiring. Just again, the whole day, just to not be in person. If this is what replaces it for now, I think we got it. So, and I totally agree with you. Thanks so much. Thanks for heading this up and for those great words. And for those that want to stick around and chat, we're here. Thanks a lot.